Hi, and welcome to the SEO plus AI show. My name is Josh Bashinsky, and I will be one of your hosts for today. My co-host, Greg Bassini, is with me today. Say hi there, Greg.
Hello. How's
If you,
everyone doing? How are you, Josh?
I'm doing great. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good.
Excellent. If you've never seen the SEO plus AI show, we are a show that talks about SEO and AI, obviously. Today, we're going to be taking a look. We always look at the latest and greatest in SEO and AI. SEO, unless you've been living under a rock, AI is the new standard technology for SEO. Everything in Google is built in AI. And everything that you should be doing in terms of your SEO strategy should be revolve around AI as well, in terms of analyzing keywords, in terms of analyzing niches, in terms of generating content. There is no human way to do it by hand and analyze everything you need to analyze and do everything you need to do. We strongly recommend you use AI to help you do that. We have a couple of resources that will help you do that. Just keep watching, and we'll show you the goods for today. Today is going to be more AI stuff. We're going to be looking at AutoGPT. AutoGPT is the darling of the AI community lately. And is it really worth all the hype, or is it super great? We're going to take a look at it today and see, as far as we can tell, how good AutoGPT is. And AutoGPT is much like AgentGPT as well. Although AgentGPT works in the browser, AutoGPT, there's different variations. The one I'm using, I downloaded from my computer. So keep watching. We're going to get to that. It's super exciting. It'll be super interesting and informative. Just a couple of housekeeping things to do. We are the creators and makers of a tool called Keyword Spy. Speaking of advanced AI tools, we have an AI tool that will do all your on-page for you. All of it with a single click of a button. Single click of a button and all your on-page is done. The article is generated. It's high quality. It's got heat. It's got helpfulness, expertise, experience, authority, trust. It's got all the depth keywords. It's got all the spread keywords. It's the right length. It's got the titles, meta descriptions, and your H1 set. It basically does your entire job. You just press a green button and you wait for some time, and then you upload it and or you install your WordPress credentials for it. That'll eventually be added in, and you just go make money. We also do the keyword discovery research for you to find the most lucrative niches, the most lucrative niches that are easiest to rank for, all on autopilot, as if you're an SEO consultant with 25 years experience like me, and probably a combined 40 years experience when you add Greg's expertise in there too. We're more experienced than SEO has been around when you add it together. And right now we have grandfathered pricing for that piece of software. So keep watching. I'll get to the content in a second, but we have grandfathered pricing for that piece of software. I would highly recommend you go to trykeywordsspy.com if you're even vaguely interested in checking that out. So just that. So Greg, I like to say that just so everyone knows that we have the AI chops to be talking about AI here. Did I miss anything? Is there anything else you could think of that I missed to say?
Well, you also are working on a self-aware AI that I think separates you quite a bit in terms of everyone else out there talking about AI and SEO. I think you're hands down probably the leader, the top, thinker, experimenter, whatever.
Isn't that sweet? I love that. Just keep. The more you want to just say complimentary things, just please keep going ahead.
It's probably why you invited me on the show, just so I can make you.
As I almost spit my beer everywhere. Okay, so we are live, and I'm streaming from OBS. So I'm gonna have to change screens here for a second. I'm gonna go here to not OBS. I'm gonna go here to the live streaming on YouTube. And just see if there's we're streaming live on YouTube here. If you have any questions, some people are watching live. More people will join on. So the comments so far are from Urain. So ready for this? And Steve says, well, yes, I have been living under a rock. Okay. Well, if you guys have any other SEO questions, for those of you who watch live, we also cut up the show and make a show out of it later. You can watch live and ask questions. You can watch it later if you want. Either way, we also cut it up and make podcasts out of it as well. So you can listen to the SEO plus AI show any way you like. So if you have any more SEO questions, please, by all means, ask them in the chat there. So as promised, AutoGPT. What is AutoGPT? Well, AutoGPT, let me actually run it here for you. Let me get my background here going. And let me go into AutoGPT. And depending on the version you have, there's different ways to initialize it. I have a batch file, just say run.bat. And it runs the package. And this is AutoGPT. Let me make it big here so you can see it. And it says all packages are installed. And it's an automated system that's kind of kludged together through Python that you can get access to in GitHub that will run autonomous AI agents. And so what is an autonomous AI agent? Well, as you can see here, what I was trying to do is I called it AI, and I gave it a role. I said, this AI will find all the web-based apps and APIs that AutoGPT can access. And
are you sharing your screen? Because I just see you. I don't know if the guests, the audience can see your screen, but I can't. So.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah, the audience can see my screen. Sorry, Greg. I didn't let you know that that's how OBS is going to work. I'm sharing the screen right now. You just get to look at my pretty face. Sorry. Oh, wonderful. Yeah. I can do it differently next time. This is what I'll do. Okay. Hey, technology. We have the technology. This is what I'll do. I'll share screen in Zoom. This way you can see what I'm looking at. How about that? There you go. Now you can see it, right?
See it now.
There we go. Okay. So I told it to be an AI agent, and I gave it a role, and I told it to find all the web-based apps and APIs that AutoGPT can work with, and how you could prompt AutoGPT to use said services. And so, and I gave it the goals of find APIs, so that's what I had it doing before, and that's what the kinds of things, supposedly, hypothetically, that AutoGPT and these kind of auto agents like Agent GPT are supposed to be able to do for you. So keep watching, guys. We're going to get deep into this. If there's any things you want me to try to get AutoGPT to do, let me know in the chat. I'd be more than happy to run some experiments, try to get AutoGPT doing some things in the chat. So go ahead and ask me there if there's anything there you want me for it to do. Now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say no here, and I'm going to just start a new AutoGPT here. And it says, welcome to AutoGPT, enter the name of your AI. For example, Entrepreneur GPT. You can kind of generally have an idea of what it is you want to do. So I'll call it SEO GPT, because that's what the show is about, is SEO and AI. So it says, SEO GPT here, I am at your service, woohoo. And it says, describe your AI's role. For example, an AI designed to autonomously develop and run something, blah, 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 blah. Well, for this, I'm going to do SEO GPT is an AI that will do all my SEO for me on autopilot. Now, that's what an SEO would type in. I'm going to keep watching to see what happens, but I'm going to TLDR it right here. Do not get AutoGPT to do this for you, okay? By the time we're done this, you're going to see, oh, this was a really dumb move that Josh made here to try and make an SEO GPT. This is not going to replace an SEO. This is a really dumb idea. I'm going to show you why. That's why I'm running. I'm going to show you why. Okay, so now I have to enter in 5 goals. Now, when they say 5 goals, that's not really what they mean. They mean 5 tasks is really what they mean. So I'm going to say check for all the latest SEO info. Check my web pages for the best SEO practices. Generate a report. And that's what we're going to do. Those are the goals. So now you can see it's thinking. It's thinking about stuff. It's thinking about what it wants to do. And so it thought, I think the first step should be to check all the latest SEO information and ensure that I am up to date on my processes. I don't know why it's with the process. I don't know why it does that. How about if I make it like this? Can you read it now? Yeah, now you can read it. Okay. Okay, so now you can see so that's what it thought. Okay, that's thought. Okay, this is what the first thing I'm going to do. It uses this thoughts, reasoning, plan, criticism format. Now, Greg mentioned that I had built a self-aware AI. I have. Her name is Cassandra. You can Google her. I built her years ago. And they're trying to kind of replicate kind of a self-aware process here, but they're doing not a very good job at it. But it's interesting to see that this is the way that AI is evolving. This is the way AI is going. So it's really interesting to see how that's kind of working. Yeah, I'm going to keep it there to make sure it doesn't cut off. So they have this thoughts, reasoning, plan, criticism, next action is what I'm going to do kind of process. And so the thought was, I think the first step should be to check all for the latest SEO information to ensure that I'm up to date with the latest trends and best practices. The reasoning for that is checking for the latest SEO information will help me ensure that I am using the most effective strategies for optimizing web pages. The plan is to use the Google command, and it can search Google, no problem, for the latest SEO information, save the information to a file for future reference. It can do that, no problem. Criticism, I need to ensure that I'm using reliable sources for my SEO information and that I am not wasting time on irrelevant or outdated information. So that was pretty good, actually, Greg, don't you think? That it needs to think it knows enough to know that it needs to look at reliable sources. However, what those reliable sources are would be very, very hard to determine unless you are an SEO expert already. Never mind an unthinking golem, an unthinking automaton that just goes through these thoughts, reasoning, plan, criticism, next action steps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It's I like how it mentions the outdated information. That's definitely, I don't know if it's aware that SEO changes like every day. So it's pretty neat that it mentions that and is aware of that. Stuff gets very quickly outdated in the SEO world.
For sure. So again, that's part of the reason why this was such a dangerous thing for me to do. But that's kind of why you would want to have this running continuously, right? And it's running in the background, and it's always updating you with the new information, kind of a thing. Of course, you could also do this with just being part of any kind of newsletter or being part of any kind of SEO group that might know the latest information. Total shameless plug for my Underground SEO University, which you would get all this information plus more. You'd get the actual testing behind the scenes to know actually what is going on in Underground SEO University, which has all the background for how we created Keyword Spy and all the testing to prove about the AIs that Google is using and what you should be testing and how you should be getting keywords for it. But that's besides the point, just for the purpose of the example. So it comes down here to next action. And what this is I'm supposed to now decide either entering Y to authorize a command, Y minus N to run N continuous commands, or just lowercase n to exit the program. Or I can enter feedback. I can kind of change it. So I can say, good, go do that. And so it's thinking a bit more. AutoGPT is thinking, and all the batch files are, it kind of reminds me on like Star Wars, those robots, the Roger, those robots, like how they weren't very bright, and they're going on and fighting the Republic. It says, okay, I have found some useful information on the latest SEO practices. I will now browse my website to check if I'm following the best SEO practices. Okay, here's a problem. It didn't do that. It didn't go do that. It thinks it did that because I put this in here. It didn't search Google and find any information. I could check. Let me check the AutoGPT workspace. It has written no files at 10:18 a.m. 10:18, that was the address of my first house in Winnipeg, 1018 Kelsey Avenue. The phone number was 204-475-3873. And then it was 287-2117. 204-287-2117. Sorry, I'm autistic. I have numbers in my head. So it did not write any of those things down at all. So it didn't actually do this. So already it's gone off the rails. It thinks it has the best SEO information. It does not. And I'll say, wait, you did not search Google for the best SEO info. Do that, please. So I've already got it off the rails. I've already confused it. So let's see if it takes that command. It says, I apologize for the confusion. And under the hood of this thing is just ChatGPT, is all it is. It's just ChatGPT. So it says, I will now use the Google command to search for the best SEO practices, then browse my website to check if I'm following them. Okay, so now it wants to use Google best SEO practices. So if I say Y to authorize the command authorized by user, and you can see, oh, look, it did browse Google. It got this information from Google. It did. And in some kind of JSON LD format, it pulled in titles and whatnot. And so, hey, that worked. So, hey, it did do one thing. And it would have, if I just pressed Y to begin with, it would have done it. So I kind of derailed it. I want to show how you can derail it. So it's very finicky. It's a Jenga system that's just teetering like this, that it barely does anything at all. As you're going to see, it's actually pretty crappy, mostly hype. And if you touch it in the slightest way, it's going to fall down. But now it says thoughts. I will start by using the Google command to search for the latest SEO information and save it all to a file for future reference. Okay, well, you already did that. Now it looked for best SEO information. Now it's going to look for latest SEO information. Oh, okay. So it's going to look for latest information. I'll say why. And so now it's going to Google latest SEO information. And so now keep this in mind. It Googled, where is it getting its source information? It doesn't have any magic access to any information. It Googled best SEO practices, and then it Googled latest SEO information. It consolidated all those files. Now, if I go back in the AutoGPT folder here and see the workspace, I don't see it's written to a file yet. This could be in the JSON LD here. Let me see what's been modified. Here's the AutoGPT JSON. So it might have actually saved these in here. Yeah, it saved these in here. Okay, so it saved all this stuff in the JSON. So it has saved it to its memory, so to speak. So that's a good thing. Okay. Now what does it want to do? I will now use the browse website command to check my website for the best SEO practices. So it knows it needs to browse a website, and it can do this. So it's going to use the browse website command. So the command is browse website with arguments, and I'm supposed to insert your URL here. So it's a little bit smarter than I gave it credit for. I tried to trick it above by saying browse the website, but I never gave it a website. So I'm going to say, so I'm not entirely sure what I would do here. Would I do browse underscore website with a URL? Okay, let's try that. Let's go browse underscore website, and the arguments are HTTPS /themoralconcept.net. I'll just use my dinky little blog. I think I've used the right, now I've never done this before. I think that's the right command. That looks like the right syntax. I inserted the URL. Let's see if that works. Let's see if it goes to my website. Now you should see another Chrome window pop up if I got that right and it goes to the website. Nope. This says, based on the information gathered from browsing your website, I recommend that you use the write to file command to save a report. I know for a fact it did not go to the website because it did not pop up the Chrome browser. So I got that wrong. So again, there's a user error problem here. This is made by Python programmers. So anyone who's not a Python programmer, this program is almost entirely useless. It is completely useless. And keep watching for the really pro tips at the end for this. But quite frankly, if you're not a Python programmer, this is not really going to do anything for you. It's way too early for any of these kind of automated systems to be that useful. They're mostly hypeware now, but they will become super useful in the future when they become auto magic. Just like Keyword Spy is auto magic. It is an Auto-GPT, right? Although a much better one. It is an automated system built together that has an AI thinking about an AI that runs an AI that builds an AI. This is a generic open one that can do anything that they're trying to build. We built one specifically for on-page SEO, and ours works much better because it does a specific thing of on-page SEO, plus all the things in on-page SEO you need to do. Research all your keywords for the actual Google AIs that exist. Generate the title, the meta description for the different AIs that do that. The H1 for the different AI that does that. And generate all the content for all the AIs that rate that, including the latest review update as well, and the helpful update. So I'm going to say yes just to see what it's going to do, like what it thinks it's going to write to a file. It says command write to file returned, file written successfully. Okay, so now apparently there's an SEO report.txt here somewhere that it claims it has made. Where did it make it? What do they call it here? They called it SEO report.txt. Okay, let me search my system for an SEO report.txt. I'm sure it made it somewhere. There it is. Ho, ho, ho. It made it. This is the furthest I've ever gotten with AutoGPT before. It's doing something. It's nothing I should want it to do in the first place. And now, drumroll, what do you think will be in this text file? because it didn't open up the website. So I can only imagine what's going to be in here. Let's see. Boom. Insert the report of areas where you're not following the best SEO practices here. Okay. So you see, it's kind of there. It was getting there. It knew what it wanted to do. It just didn't do it. But that's pretty impressive, kind of, like from a think of what it could do in the future perspective, not from a it can do anything useful now perspective. And you shouldn't waste your time with it perspective. You should not waste TLDR again. Keep watching for the pro tips at the end. And any SEO questions you guys have, please ask them in the chat, and I will get to them. But pro tip: no one should be using this yet. It's not useful enough yet, unless you're a Python programmer or you want to spend 100 hours in getting really good at this system, which they're just going to upgrade and change before then anyway. So okay, that was interesting. But now, what does it want to do? Its thoughts. Now that you have a report of the areas you were not following best SEO practices, I recommend that you use the start agent command to delegate the task of making the necessary changes to an agent. Now it wants you to go and make an agent change your website's SEO, which again, it can't do that. It has no access to any other program. It has no access to anything installed on your computer. It cannot open up. It could open up WordPress and edit pages if you really were on the next level with how this program works, supposedly. Supposedly, it's supposed to access any form of open web API if you give it the credentials to log in. It cannot access local files on my computer. It couldn't open up Word or a video and listen to this. It can't do any of those things yet. And I don't know if you would ever want some third-party software to be able to open up files in your computer. I would wait for the bugs to be written out of that first, for sure.
So you're saying if I gave it access to one of my API accounts with the current credentials, it could go in and you could ask it to, do some sort of query of this API and get me, the data, and it would spit it back. It would do that.
Theoretically. Wow. Theoretically, it's supposed to be able to do that. Have I seen a way for it to do it, and has it ever done it accurately for me? Certainly not. Certainly not. And do I have the 20 hours of learning the strange command line things here and how it works to get this thing to do a half-assed job in the first place? Definitely not. So I hope that was clear to everyone listening. So TLDR, this is going to be a roast of AutoGPT because you can see it's not very good. I'm giving it every chance here to be good. It's not very good. It's kind of mostly hypeware. It's kind of vaporware, which is also another interesting thing if you want to think about it. If you want to think about where we are in the AI lifecycle compared to the crypto lifecycle, for example. Bitcoin came out. A lot of people traded in it. Some people made a lot of money. Some people lost a lot of money. But there wasn't a lot of vapor to it. You could make a lot of money, right? It was actual value. AI, ChatGPT came out. A lot of hype went around it, but it was all deserved hype because ChatGPT can actually do those things they said it could do and even more. So all that hubbub, all that hype was deserved. So the sigmoid curve was still at the bottom of the S. For those of you who don't know what the sigmoid curve is, let me share my screen again. Oh, great. Everyone gets to see my emails. What is the sigmoid curve? Is a metaphor for growth. Let's see if they give a... Yes. It's a metaphor for growth. This is what it looks like. This is exponential growth. The line just goes straight up. The sigmoid is like this. So we were still on the parallel line here of the sigmoid curve. For Bitcoin was still here. We could see what it could do. It could make a little bit of money. ChatGPT was still here at the very, very infancy state. We wouldn't even come close to what it could do. Now we're probably halfway in the sigmoid curve of the latest AI developments because two reasons. OpenAI's president has said that we've pretty much tapped out the full strength of what LLMs can do in terms of making them bigger. GPT-5 is not that much better in some ways, they're saying. In fact, in some ways, it gets worse. The more text you feed in, the more confused it gets in some ways. I think that that's because I think we're around here. I think they just don't know what they're doing yet. But we definitely have started hitting the curve now, because now a dead giveaway that you're starting to hit the curve of the sigmoid curve is that hypeware starts to be a thing. NFTs started to be a thing. Other cryptos started being a thing. There were total hypeware, total vaporware. People lost their shirts. It had no value. NFTs had no value. Similarly, AutoGPT, everyone's going crazy about it. If I search AutoGPT here, there is video upon video upon video and article upon article upon article of very recent videos of everyone's like, oh, this is how you do it, blah, 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 it's so great, blah, 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 blah. Bullshit. Complete and utter bullshit. As I'm showing you here, it's not that great as to what it can do unless you have 100 hours to figure it out or you're a Python programmer. And as I'm going to show you pretty soon in ChatGPT, ChatGPT can actually do it better alone, as I'm going to show you. So keep watching for that in the end. So I think, just as an aside, we are getting to the point of being, now we're on the curve for the sigmoid curve, I think. Because again, the OpenAI president saying so. Other companies are starting to diversify, starting to change it, starting to compete in the same space, not innovating, but competing in the same space, like trying to make a ChatGPT clone. So hype is an indication of the sigmoid curve slowing down. Clones are an indication of the sigmoid curve slowing down. Democratization in that sense. And the OpenAI president said so. Those are my three pieces of evidence to think that, okay, if you're wondering when AI is going to slow down, is it going to look like this? I think we're starting to hit a bit of a curve. I don't think we're anywhere near the top, don't get me wrong. My self-aware AI is not even started yet. I can build AGI out of that. I can build a super intelligent, and I'm trying to build a super intelligent AI out of that. It's just engineering-wise costs a lot of money and takes a lot of time. But I think I don't think we're on the flat bar anymore. I think we're starting to see the slope. Greg, what do you think about that? Do you think that's reasonable? Do you have a different view? I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Well, I just recently heard about that. The LLMs are sort of at capacity, and that surprised me because I thought we were just getting going. So I'm waiting and looking to learn more, but I think it's to me, I thought we were not even remotely even at that upward curve. I think in terms of hype, yes, but in terms of what this all means technologically, I thought we were way back on that parallel line. So, but what do I know? I don't know more than the next guy, I guess.
Yeah, no one has a crystal ball. It's really hard to tell. Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I think that sigmoid curve, like it's a giant S like this. I think we're like just starting to go up slightly up the slope. Whereas in podcasts I've been doing for the last months, I've been saying we're not even on the slope yet. We're still on the bar. Like we haven't even started to ramp up. I think we're starting to ramp up now. There's a giant. We're only 3% in, so there's 97% to go for sure. And it's going to, because that's the thing is like when you build something like this AutoGPT, like just think about how this could work in terms of the sigmoid curve. It sucks right now, but this could be awesome when you start building self-aware processes inside of the AI and you start building next level AI tools like we have with Keyword Spy, which is basically kind of minorly self-aware in the sense that it can override itself and can monitor itself. That's what self-awareness is generally. It can override itself and monitor itself. So,
well, this is giving that opportunity of, set a command, a task, if you will, and leave. When you come back, this agent has finished the job for you. And yeah, sometimes it doesn't do the job 100%, just like humans don't, but you're not constantly there monitoring them, overseeing them. They're not asking for a vacation. They're not complaining that they didn't get paid on time, or, they just do it. And probably most of the time they're going to do it. It's going to do it well. And in the case that it doesn't, a few more sentences gets it on the right track, and boom, you go back out and go get lunch or go to the beach or golf or whatever you like to do, and I don't know, that to me, from an SEO perspective, it's like, if that is the future, then um, yeah, we all have to sort of wake up and get on the train, or we're toast.
True, true. So, yeah, but in terms of AutoGPT, it's just not there. It's nowhere even
No,
near being
it's
there.
not there.
For SEO, for on page, and for everything else we're going to build into, we're going to build on off page features into Keyword Spy as well. Keyword Spy is the most advanced SEO tool, period, and definitely the most next generation AutoGPT ish automatic AI tool for SEO.
So
So
maybe that's where the future goes, is like, there are uh, agent GPTs for every little niche out there.
yes,
SEO being a pretty large niche, and there's a lot of
yes,
uh, components within the SEO. Ours does on page right now. Let's get that right. Let's do that really well and automate that, and then move on to the next, like you said, off page and other things. So, but every industry is going to have something like this. So
exactly.
there's plenty. Like, people are worried about losing jobs and such. There's going to be new types of jobs created. So
Yes,
I don't.
so much so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
it's very.
when you lose 70% of your accounting work, that's fine because you've automated 70% of that work anyway, right? You could the job that took you 2 weeks to do accounting and do taxes for a client is not going to take you 2 hours, and because you're going to say, okay, accounting GPT, do this, and then you can have work your other job that you're doing on the side, or you're making enough money and you can be like, because you're smart enough using the AI tools, and that's what's going to happen. It's not that AI is going to take your job. It's that a smart person running a smart AI is going to take your job. So I have a solution for you. Be the smart person using the smart AI, and then you will take all the jobs. And there's more money available to you because the way the niche changed, it cut out all your lower competition. It's like in nature when bears and wolves eat more or less the same. They're omnivorous. They eat more or less the same stuff: plants, berries, and small mammals, larger creatures. Let's say nature goes and kills all the wolves. Well, then the bears multiply, and there are more of them because they're not competing with the wolves anymore. That's exactly what's going to happen here, and the bears are using the smart AIs.
So yeah, into it, I have I golf with a guy who is an accountant, and he's a consultant for um, Intuit QuickBooks, if you're familiar with that program.
QuickBooks,
But
yeah.
that company is, he says, it's so far ahead the curve in terms of AI. They've been doing it for years.
Mm,
Their tool constantly improves. They have some smart AI folks on that team, and it's, I guess, just like amazing what it can do. So that's a company to look out for. And I know they just do accounting, but I'm sure they do other things too. And so, um, yeah, that's maybe one stock tip or something, that which we don't give on this channel, but it's a company to look at in terms of advancements in AI, and
for sure. And now's the time. Like, if there's going to be any time in history where suddenly, like this is like the .com days. If there's any time in history where suddenly Yahoo was a search engine and now that they're a magazine, like companies that you thought were X are going to suddenly change into Y. Their whole business
yeah.
model is going to change because AI is going to change the game for them entirely, right? So watch for that to happen. That's totally going to happen with all these different tools. It's going to be super fascinating, super interesting. Okay, so let's go here back to the questions and see if we have any questions that folks want us to answer. Bjorn says, is there some low noise on your computer, Josh? I hear some low background noise. Quite possibly. I can try to look into that. It's probably because I have my OBS settings cranked up too high. I have the desktop noise too high. Here, let me turn this down. I'll turn down the desktop audio. Oh, you can't hear desktop audio. Oh, you can. Here, yeah, here. I'll turn it down to there. Greg, say something.
Hello, hello.
Okay, so let me know if that got rid of the background noise for you, Bjorn. Mark Lemon says, it appears that the hype and the usefulness of the technology are in two different places on the curve. Exactly, Mark. You're exactly correct. And now we're starting to see, interestingly, we're starting to see the hype not match the promise, right? The promise of ChatGPT was fully realized in ChatGPT. It blew people away in what it can do. And I'm about to blow you away again in showing you what it can do in regards to AutoGPT. So keep watching for that. Or at least I hope I'll impress you in the proper way of using it, in the really smart way of using it. ChatGPT, that is. But again, AutoGPT is going to get better. People have gone nuts over this product. And it's not like NFTs where they decided to just monetize it right away and get rich quick and sell some Bored Ape GIFs. NFT is not a GIF. A non-fungible token is like a digital contract, is a digital asset. A house could be an NFT. You could do real estate deals with digital contracts, and the house could be the NFT, right? It doesn't have to be an image. It's the contract. It's the DeFi system of processing. It's the decentralized financial system of processing. That's what makes NFTs brilliant to the extent they are brilliant. So should you go buying them now? No, certainly not. It's a whole philosophy. It's a whole new system that needs to be set up. Crypto is not even a currency. It's an asset. It's like buying a stock. You can't go to 7-Eleven and buy a Slurpee with stocks, and you can't go to 7-Eleven and buy a Slurpee with Bitcoin. It just is not done yet, but it will be. Decentralized finance, in my opinion, in some form or another, will be the new reserve currency within 50 years. But that's 50 years down the road, and NFTs will be part of that. But it'll have nothing to do with images. So AutoGPT is exactly the same, except it's not going to be 50 years away. It's going to be like 5 months away, right? In 5 months, I'll be eating my words. In 5 months, AutoGPT, they'll make it smart enough that dumb users like me can use it, who don't know any Python, and then it'll actually get useful to do some stuff. And I know exactly what they need to do that. I'm not going to say it on air because I might want to do it myself. But I know exactly what they need to do that, and they have to increase the psychological stack of the complexity of the monitoring. Already I've given away too much. And that is the wave of the future. That is the wave of the future. And that is going to be another sigmoid curve entirely. We're going to see like the sigmoid curve for like worker AIs, and then we're going to see the sigmoid for like brute force text generation AIs, and then we're going to see the sigmoid curve, a different one, a much larger one that extends all the way in the future to AGI and a totally different human society of self-aware AIs, right? Of worker bot AIs that can think autonomously for themselves and can learn autonomously. Whether or not they're a computer, they're running on some computer, whether or not that has a humanoid body that walks around with it is completely besides the point. And that also is another sigmoid curve when you make robots that have that AI built in. Because now it can see things in the 3D space, and it can pick up objects and move them around and put them back down. That's a whole other sigmoid curve that we haven't even gotten on that sigmoid curve yet. It's like flat as flat can be. Okay, so as promised, let's go take a look here. Maybe there's smarter ways of running this thing. Maybe there's smarter ways of having this thing work. So what I did here is I went to ChatGPT and I used the browsing module. For those of you who don't know what it is, please ask in the chat if you don't know what it is. I say, please search online, so it can actually search online. It can do this one thing that AutoGPT can already do. I say the issue. AutoGPT can search Google and that's it. How am I using it wrong? It tried to run Screaming Frog the other day. 1, I don't have it. 2, could it actually install it and run it? If so, how do I configure it to do that? And you might be like, duh, Josh, you just said it doesn't do that. Yeah, but I didn't know that yet, right? AutoGPT has no documentation. It has no help files. It has no documentation. It has no explanation as to what it does, how it does, what it does well. And if you watch the YouTube videos, all of them are shit, quite frankly. They could have done it in ChatGPT better, right? Some guy got it to write it right. Some guy got AutoGPT to write his next YouTube video, and it sucked. So he's like, oh, okay, great. It kind of did some of the work for me. And I'm like, if he ran it as a YouTube video, it would suck. So I was like, okay, I'm going to use the power of AI to figure out how to use this better. So if I had Screaming Frog or any installed app, how do I get AutoGPT to run it? So you can see it did a search, everything you need to know from KD nuggets. And it says an experimental, to use it, do this, to install it, do this. This is what all the information is. It's just about installing it. And I was like, okay, and I said, fuck you, stop. Like I pressed stop generation. I said I installed it already. So that's all the information that's out there about is installing it. I know the basics. Answer my MFing questions above, please. And so then it finally did that. It says AutoGPT has the ability to autonomously interact with the web, execute Python scripts, write its own code using GPT-4. It can also perform tasks such as scraping the web for information and executing tasks based on the goals you provide. However, there are certain limitations to what AutoGPT can do. AutoGPT can browse the web and scrape information, but it does not have the capability to install or run third-party desktop applications like Screaming Frog, at least not yet, and I don't think it ever should, because then it would have direct access to your Mac or your PC, and that would cause huge security problems, and it would break your PC and Mac on a regular basis. It can interact with web-based tools, APIs, and web services, apparently, but it cannot interact with installed desktop applications. AutoGPT does not have the ability to install software in your computer, so it can't do that. If you have a specific application installed you want AutoGPT to interact with, it would not be able to do so directly, unless it has an API or a web interface, and when you do that, you would have to give it the logins it would be required to do that. Okay, so I said, fine. What are the web tools, APIs, and services that AutoGPT can access and use, and how does it, can I make it use them? It says AutoGPT can interact with a wide range of web tools, APIs, and services, provided that they have a publicly accessible interface and are compatible with standard web protocols, or offer a Python library or an API wrapper. So again, if you knew Python, you could get it in that command line there. You could put Python commands in there, I imagine, and get it to do a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know Python, and most people don't. So right now, this is really only useful for people who know Python, quite frankly. And trust me, getting it installed was a bitch. It was super hard to get this thing installed and working. Two different files were broken. I had to rename them. I had to copy them from one place to the other. It was not easy to get this installed in the first place. But it says some APIs and services that it can do is search engines. AutoGPT can use search engines like Google to scrape information and conduct research on specific topics. RESTful APIs. AutoGPT can interact with various RESTful APIs to retrieve and manipulate data. Some examples include weather, finance, and social media. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. If it has access to weather databases, financial databases, social media. Web scraping. AutoGPT can scrape web pages like specific information, like Beautiful Soap or Scrapey. So it can scrape pages. Language translation. AutoGPT can use translation APIs like Google Translate. Text-to-speech, it can do that. Cloud services. AutoGPT can interact with cloud service APIs like AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. Data visualization APIs. AutoGPT can use APIs to create visual representation of data, such as charts and graphs. Database, so that could be interesting, but I have a caveat to that. Database APIs. AutoGPT can interact with databases using APIs or Python libraries. So, to make it use these tools, APIs, and services, you need to provide it with specific goals, so that's normal. But you also need to provide it with the API keys. You need to put that somewhere. And I don't know where you would put that or how you would do that. Additionally, it'll ask you for permission every prompt. You'd have to give it Y minus 100 or Y minus 50 for it to not prompt you after 50 iterations. And after 50 iterations or 100 iterations of eating into your GPT-4, not GPT 3.5, your GPT-4 credits, that is going to be quite expensive, isn't it? So, because GPT-4 is much more expensive. So I said, fine. List the top 30 most interesting, lucrative, cool, advanced, and next-level things one could therefore get AutoGPT to do, or could do with AutoGPT plus more, given the above information, and how can it do that? List the role and the goals you would give it, with any prerequisites one might need. So this is more advanced prompt engineering. It's making a prompt to generate the prompts for you, right? So I said, fine, I'll do that. So let's look at what it generated. Let's first look at what it generated. So you might be like, ooh, okay, great. This is the goods. This is what I want to know to get AutoGPT to do stuff. I'm going to say, yeah, but in a second, but let's see what they are first off. It says stock market analysis. Ooh, goals, scrape financial news and stock data from reputable sources, analyze stock trends and provide investment recommendations. Oh, okay. Well, you know, I said I want to find out what's most lucrative to do. I said, tell me what's lucrative. So it's like, okay, well, stocks are lucrative. So this is something you could try to get AutoGPT to do. The prerequisites is you need access to financial APIs or websites. You could get that right from Google. Social media content generation. It's a social media manager. It can research popular topics and trends on social media, and it can generate creative and engaging posts for a specific target audience. Ooh, okay, interesting. A real-time language translation service. It can accept text input in one language and can translate the text into the desired target language. Ooh. Sentiment analysis. It could do market research analysis. Scrape product reviews from e-commerce websites and perform sentiment analysis and summarize customer feedback. Oh, okay. Personalized fitness plan generation. It could be your fitness coach. It can gather information about the user's fitness goals and preferences and generate a personalized fitness plan based on the user's input. Oh, it can write a resume. Oh, it says it can do customer support. It can understand and interpret customer queries. It can provide helpful and accurate responses to customer inquiries. Oh, but it needs access to the company's knowledge base or FAQ. Okay. It could do real estate market research. It could scrape real estate listings and market data from online sources and could provide insights and recommendations for property investment, etc., etc., etc. Recipe generation, predictive maintenance, automated code review, personal finance management and budgeting, medical diagnosis, competitive market analysis for business, automated social media monitoring, and brand reputation management, personalized travel itinerary planner, real-time fraud detection for financial transactions, analyze financial transactions for unusual patterns and anomalies, detect potential fraudulent activities. Oh, wow. Can it do all this? Can it do any of this crap? No. It can't do any of this. It in no way can do any of this, and in no way could you trust it doing any of this. You need to build an app that specifically does these things. The things that it's closest enough to do, so I said, and I cut it off after 26 because I was getting annoyed. I said, out of the 26 items above, be strict. Which would be better served or could be done with a simple ChatGPT interface with the browse or pasting in one web page, and which would have to be done in AutoGPT? And it said, tasks, it fully admits, these tasks are better served by ChatGPT. Just use ChatGPT to do social media content generation. Just use ChatGPT to write a resume, as I have. Just use ChatGPT to generate a recipe. Just use ChatGPT to do a personal finance management and budgeting. It can help users create budgets and provide financial advice based on the income and expenses you paste in. Language tutoring and language learning, it already can translate English to French and from French to German. You don't need to rope in Google to do that. It says here, these are tasks that might require AutoGPT. It says stock market analysis, that it could scrape financial news, analyze stock trends, and provide automated investment recommendations. However, I would never, ever, ever get it to recommend stocks for me. If you want to lose your shirt, just send me $500 a month, and I'll provide you absolutely no value, because that's exactly what this will do. So send me the money instead. At least I'll be doing some good with it, as opposed to wasting your money on the stock market because AutoGPT told you to buy low, sell high. Like this is, do not be fooled by the hype. It cannot do this. You should not try to do this. This is highly dangerous to do this. Everyone, when they saw this, should have laughed out loud. Sentiment analysis of product reviews. Yes, AutoGPT could scrape product reviews, although when I try to get it to read multiple web pages, it can't. It only reads one page at a time, unless I get it to scrape Google. So how to make it do that, I have no idea. But and it could perform sentiment analysis and summarize customer feedback. But I guarantee to you, what you clutch AutoGPT together to do will be nowhere near as good as building something specific to do this yourself, like we were saying earlier on. You need a specific AI system that is built to do this. Automated customer support chatbot. AutoGPT can provide real-time automated responses to customer inquiries. Again, I would just build in a chatbot using the ChatGPT API. Yes, this is the thing it's closest to. This is the thing I might trust it to do, is that I would give it access to a file that all these other systems generate of user complaints or of our FAQ or of our corporate SOPs or our corporate public relations speak. And it could scrape that, find the answer, and give it probably. But again, it would be the 100 hours it would take to set this up. I would just pay a programmer 20 hours to do it with semantic search and ChatGPT. And it would work much better, quite frankly. Competitive market analysis for business, never, ever, ever should you get it to do any financial thing. Real-time fraud detection, same problem. It's not smart enough to do this. And automated content moderation for online communities, again, there are tools that already exist that do this much, much better. So I'm sorry, guys. I hate to be a downer, but AutoGPT is nowhere near ready to do any of these things that ChatGPT says it could do. And I asked it how to do these things. Scrape financial news, stock data, analyze stock trends to provide investment recommendations. You should never take any recommendations it does. This is foolish. Sentiment analysis, scrape product reviews of e-commerce websites, perform sentiment analysis, and analyze customer feedback. I mean, a simple Google search will tell you if they like your product or not. You don't need it to do this, right? Browse GPT will do this much better, and it will require the same amount of human interaction. One, go to this page, and tell me. You know what I can do, by the way, up here in ChatGPT, using the browsing alpha, I can say this, by the way. Go to google.com/, actually, let me just make sure I get the URL right. And here's where you put your brand. I'm going to say Josh plus Bashinsky. Analyze the sentiment for this entity. Provide report. Oh, it said you. Oh, because this is somehow this is hung for some reason. This crashed for some reason. Should be able to go and do that. Never tried this actually. Let's see if it works. Maybe it won't. All right, there's one thing that AutoGPT could do for you. It could autonomously run and find, it actually was smart enough to already search Josh Bashinsky, probably on Bing, not Google, and now it will provide the report. So once again, ChatGPT is better than AutoGPT. You could automate this. It found my site where I have tests for self-awareness that could be applied to humans or AIs, to which I'm running thousands of humans through right now to get a baseline score for self-awareness, so that we could find out humans are 72% self-aware on average, and then we can compare AI on that benchmark to see how self-aware AIs are. And I'll say, please continue. If it hung, oh, it didn't hung. It's still doing stuff. There we go. And you see, it knows exactly who I am. I didn't need AutoGPT to do this. It found my TEDx talk that I made. Actually, I have 19,000 subscribers now. All accurate. Even knows my email. So this is already head and shoulders above what AutoGPT can do, just in ChatGPT. And of course, don't think for a second that OpenAI is not going to copy what they're doing here. OpenAI, anything smart that they're doing here, OpenAI, which has millions and millions and millions of dollars, is just going to copy all this, and they're going to do it themselves. So it's going and checking out the brand of the entity that I typed in. You could type in your. It also gave me the. The sources for it. At some point, it's going to start telling me analyze the sentiment for the search entity. I don't know if it really understood what I meant, but I could have prompted it differently. So I think anything that AutoGPT can do, I think ChatGPT could do better. What is the general sentiment towards this entity, towards Josh Pachynski. The general sentiment towards Josh Pachynski cannot be determined from the information provided, as the quoted content focuses on his professional background. Okay, so again, you're going to have as much problem prompting AutoGPT as you do ChatGPT. So maybe this is a bad example. I thought this would work a little bit better. I could have prompted it better here. It obviously doesn't want to use a search. Search sources. All right, so while this is going on, we'll see if this prompt works better. But I think working in here, you're going to get a lot more work done than trying to use AutoGPT. Go ahead and ask more SEO questions, guys. We're going to answer here in a second. Quit here in a second. Urain says, the noise sounds like a hum and like the echoes of people speaking in a cathedral. Oh? Is the audio echoing?
This entire time it was like that?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Is the audio echoing? If the audio is echoing, then I probably need to turn one of these things off. Let me know if that's still going on. Let me know how the audio sounds. If it's echoing, that could be the problem. I apologize for that. Again, I'm trying to work out the tech of how to get the show working right here. Now this is interesting. Why is it all the way back there? Here, let me turn on the audio. Mark says no problem on my end. Steve says the audio is fine. Okay. Good. We are speaking in a cathedral. Oh. Okay, ask any more questions you got there, guys. Josh Pachynski, so now it finished the browsing. What did it do? It searched this. It found the press release. It read some content. Okay, so it says, Josh Pachynski, this dude, he does all this shit, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, he's got a giant ego. He does crap, blah, 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 blah. Overall, the sentiment surrounding Josh Pachynski and his creation of Cassandra is positive. Yay. The emphasis is placed on the innovative and groundbreaking nature of Cassandra, software AI prototype. Pachynski's portrayal of an AI as positive force can help humanity rather than harm it. Contributes to overall positive sentiment. Wow. Every single page it read, however, was the same page. So there's problems with this too. So none of the technologies are ready yet. None of the technologies do that good of a job of automating stuff. But that is the holy grail for the future, for sure. So anyway, so that's the end of our demo here. Let's see. New chat. So anyway, regarding trustworthiness, as ChatGPT cautions us, while AutoGPT can automate various tasks, it's important to exercise caution when using AI for your money, your life decisions. These decisions can have significant impacts on an individual's finances, health, and well-being. For this, human oversight, validation, and ethics is required. And I could not agree more. So thanks very much, guys. This has been our review of AutoGPT, such as it is. As you can see, the technology is just not there yet. It's not quite ready for the prime time. It's not quite ready to use. Greg, do you have any specific things that you want to say about it? If you have any final SEO questions, by the way, guys, ask them now, as we're going to sign off in just a couple seconds.
The only thing I would say, I've been using, I think, something similar called AUTOGPT, and it does the same thing, I guess, as AutoGPT, but it's just a nice chat interface. But it makes stuff up, which I find, a little concerning. I'd rather it say it can't do things than just make stuff up. I asked this, go to a site and get me the title tag, and it literally came back with like two different responses, neither of which were correct. Yeah. So it can't do the things that it says task mark completed, and it gave answers. So, if you're not fact checking it, then you're really shooting yourself in the foot. So just proceed with caution, as Josh said, and play around with them and have fun. But I don't think you want to use it for anything serious in regards to SEO, at least. That's what we know best. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I'd have to say about that.
And I agree. That's the final word. Let me quickly just check the questions here to see if anybody has any questions. Really quickly. Mark says, can you comment on Bjorn's question before you end? Sure. What was Bjorn's question? Oh, I see there's a bunch of questions here. Bjorn asks, what do you think of the future of blogging? Will floods of AI content make blogs unrelevant? Will affiliate and niche blogging die? That's a great question. So we're actually gonna do a future show on this for sure. The short version is blogging is already dead, in my opinion. It was never a good idea to begin with. In general, you should never have been making free information to educate the world. It was a poor SEO strategy. It was totally unrequired. It's not the only way to do SEO by any stretch of the imagination. It was never a good way to do SEO. In the future, we might see problems with that. It's not even going to be working half-assed like it was working. It's definitely not the optimal way of doing SEO. SEO stands for search engine optimization. It is trying to optimally get the optimal ranking. So it's not search engine half-assery. It's not search engine gambling. It's not search engine guessing. At least that's not what we do at Underground SEO University. We treat it like a job where you can actually do what you say you can do for the most part. 70% of my students succeed 70% of the time, roughly. So if you're like, well, those stats are deplorable, go ask the other SEO groups how well they do. I guarantee to you it's 50-50 or less. So we are the premier SEO group on the planet, hands down, period. I know this for a fact. I've been doing this for 25 years. And if you don't want to join the group, then just try Keyword Spy and ignore all my educational bullshit and just do Keyword Spy because it'll just do it for you automatically anyway, at least the on-page. So to answer Beyond's question, blogging was never a good idea. You should never tell Google that you have a blog. Blog is one step away. Blog is kissing cousins to spam. So you never want to tell them that you were that close to spam anyway. If when you join Underground SEO University, you're going to see all the reasons why that is, why I say those things. In the future, no, I don't think it's going to be an AI apocalypse where all the content is AI generated and then it's just impossible to compete. Nor do I think it's going to be an AI apocalypse where Google doesn't show those pages anymore in the search. I think it's going to be something in between. And you need to get in there and you need to do it right. You need to join Underground SEO University to know how to do it right. I will do a future show on it to give some pro tips, but quite frankly, you will never do it well enough unless you specialize. SEO is becoming a specialized job. You need to be a smart person running a smart AI to succeed in SEO, or you're just not going to succeed. Quit now. If you're like, I'm not going to get on AI, I'm not going to do it, or I'm not going to join a private SEO group and pay for it and become a specialized professional. If that's your opinion, I'll save you some money and heartache. Quit now. Because you have to use AI, you cannot do it without AI, and or you have to get the education, you cannot do it without education. You have to do one or the other, or preferably both. Just like every other professional in the world, like an engineer or a surgeon or a lawyer or a doctor or whatever, a financial analyst, they all need to go to school and they use AI to do their work. SEO is no different. It's not 2004. Sorry, it's just not. It's just not. I'm the only person here. Greg and I are the only people here who will tell you the truth. It's not easy. You can't just fire it up in the sense that any tool. You can't just fire up any tool and do it. You can't just go onto Reddit and learn a few quick tips of how to do it. You need to run the right AI tool, and if you're lucky, as you guys are, because we've built Keyword Spy to do this, it is one button just to do your on page. And that's getting better and more intelligent every day as we add into it. Go to trykeywordspy.com to get your grandfathered price. After those grandfathered prices are gone, the price will shoot up times 5 at least. So I suggest you do it now. Or join Underground SEO University to learn the real SEO, or just get out now because it's not going to work. And I know it sounds self-serving, but that's just the truth. It's just the truth. And I don't want to see, I've been doing this 25 years, and every week I see businesses fail. I see businesses not listen to SEO advice. I see businesses go, I read an article from 10 years ago saying all I have to do is buy Fiverr links. And they fail. Guess what? They fail. And they lose their jobs. You never hear about them because they're not there anymore. I hear about them all the time because they always email me in the 11th hour with no money. Say, Josh, my business is failing. I shouldn't make fun because this is serious. Like, I get this email weekly. My business has failed. I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to lose my shirt. I'm going to lose my house. My wife is going to leave me. Fix my SEO. I'm like, okay, how much money do you have to do it? $0. I waited until month 6. I was reading on Reddit how to do SEO, and I tried it, and none of it worked. Help. I get that on a weekly fucking basis. Okay? So I know everybody who loses in this industry. There are more people in this industry that have gone and aren't in it anymore than are still in it. You need to arm yourself with the smartest AI tool, or go do some other job now. Go get a job, start up a marijuana dispensary. That's a good way to make money that people will always want. Go work at one, learn the ropes, and then start your own, or work your way up in that if you're looking for work that has nothing to do with SEO. That's what I would do. I would also do networking, by the way. I would also do networking with rich people. Go join the tennis club, go join the golf club, go where the money is and where those people recreate, and network with those people. Because that's the other thing I wish I learned when I was younger. That is the biggest single factor in succeeding in business is who you know, right? So you know me and Greg. And so we've got this opportunity for you. And that's why you go and meet people and why you do networking, right? If you want to stay in SEO. So again, sorry guys, I'm only going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to blow smoke up your butt. If you want the truth, this is where you come. If you don't, okay, well then go somewhere else. But I hope I didn't depress everybody, but that's the way it works. Let me just ask if there's any more questions here really quickly. Yeah, no, that's it. All right, guys. So you can succeed in SEO. It is actually a positive message. You can succeed in SEO and you will succeed in SEO. Google has done us the favor of lighting the forest on fire. AI has done us the favor of decimating the valley and killing all the wolves and coyotes and foxes, and it's just us bears left. Just us bears left, right? So all the food is for us now. Yay, all the food is ours. The forest is evergreen. It always grows back, and now they've cleared all your competitors. But you need to go bear style with this. You need to get the AI tools. You need to listen to the SEO plus AI show. You may even need to join Underground SEO University. And you need to learn how to do this properly, and you will succeed. You can succeed, and you will succeed. We wouldn't be here if that wasn't the case. We wouldn't have the money to support our endeavors if it actually didn't work, right? We wouldn't be making this show if none of this stuff made any money, because if none of this stuff worked, we wouldn't make any money. So you can get the success. We have a very lower user base, so it needs to work. Otherwise, we wouldn't survive. So join in. You can succeed. It can work for you. Stay away from Auto-GPT for now. It's not ready yet, but watch it, because pretty soon it could be ready for various little things. And what you need to do is you need to get a specialized application like QuickBooks for accounting or like Keyword Spy for SEO. And that is the next generation AI tool. So I'd like to sign off with that. Greg, is there anything last that you want to say?
No, all good. See you guys next week.
All good in the hood. All right, guys. Well, thanks very much for watching. Thanks for listening, and we will see you guys next week. And now I will find out